Good afternoon. Hello, teacher. Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Are you feeling better, Tim?
Yes,
Yeah, that's
I
great.
feel better. Thanks for asking.
Of course. I was worried. I was wondering if you were feeling better. So I'm very happy that you're back. Faudi, Ale, Tani, how are you guys?
Hi, teacher. I'm very fine, and you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking, Faudi. Okay, I hope that Ale and Tani are doing well as well. Okay,
Sorry,
guys.
teacher. Yeah,
So
yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Hi, teacher. Are you doing
hello.
fine?
Okay, as you asked for, we're going to be talking about mental health, which is one of my favorite things to talk about. For this one, I didn't want to go for just the typical mental health video, but I found one that I genuinely liked that talks about, and then the name of it, look, listen to the name, Why We Are Unhappy. So I don't know, like when I was going over videos, because I did go over many videos, and I found this one. I was like, it sounds very interesting. And you're going to see like the take that the speaker has on this, and I think it's pretty interesting. So I said, I think this would be a great video to start our class for mental health. This is not going to be the only one. We're going to have more than one, but I thought it would be like really cool to start with this video. Okay. So let me go ahead and share with you my screen so we can start watching the video. Okay, guys. So first of all, my first question is always, did you like the video?
I think it was pretty interesting, actually. I actually like that, like the comparison between the people choices and the monkey ones. I think it was pretty funny. So yeah.
Indeed.
Yes, teacher. I sorry.
Go.
Well, I liked the video. I think it was very interesting.
Thank you. Yes, as I told you, I chose it because I really like the comparison that he makes. Well, not only with monkeys, but everything that he says. I think it's just pretty cool. And I like what he says, the fact that sometimes we are not bounded, but sometimes we are like how can I say that, stagnated, because we believe or we are hoping that we're gonna become this in order to be happy. But the thing is, once we get here, maybe it's not what we're expecting. So I think that is very interesting. So I want to start asking the question to you. Why do you think that we, and I'm talking about, well, I know it sounds weird because we don't think that we're very unhappy, but why do you think that sometimes we are unhappy with what we already have?
Well, I think like, well, he says it on the video, but I think it is pretty true. The fact that we most of the times we don't manage our expectations, so we expect things that are maybe not impossible to happen, but are very probably not happening. So I think we expect things that are almost impossible. And I think most of the times we get, a little bit down because of that reason.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, yes, teacher. I think, like he said, when we come across something unexpected or something that exists, accepts or reality, we automatically get discouraged, like the example of the Mona Lisa. I love that example. Or when we see in other people something that maybe we don't have.
Exactly. I completely agree with you. And I think the example of the Mona Lisa, it's a great example. And I've been that person because, for example, I've seen pictures, and once I get, like, for example, I was in London, so I was expecting to see the London Eye, and I was there, and I saw it, I was like, meh. I mean, like, it's pretty, but I mean, it's not. But it, again, it's just a picture. It's the way that they take the picture, the angle, and everything. Maybe the lighting, the enhancements, everything that they do, that it makes it look so great. that sometimes we could be in a place where we can get great pictures, we just don't know how. Okay, Tani and Fari, any thoughts in regards to the question?
Basically, like Dan and Ale said, I think a lot of time we have high expectations, basically, that are difficult to meet, and then we are disappointed.
I agree. Okay, Fari, any comments before moving to the next question?
Well, for me, it's interesting also the fact that, for example, if you surround with in the video said like that you are like the most handsome person in that group, that you feel very well with them because you don't try to impress someone, because it's natural that you are like the best looking person, so you don't have to worry about how you really look, because others tend to admire you and you don't have to make a lot of effort.
Okay, yes, I agree. And actually, Tani mentioned something that is my next question, because Tani mentioned that we have sometimes very high expectations. Where do you think these high expectations come from? Because I mean, let me expand on that. Sometimes they do come from our parents or family, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes we create these high expectations out of nowhere, and we're still expecting to meet these high expectations. And I'm gonna give you a quick example over here, and I'm gonna use my experience. When I got to university, I was hoping to get hundreds in everything, because in high school I was really good. But what I never thought was that there were so many changes in I mean, because I was living there in San Carlos and then I moved to Heredia. So I was gonna first start living without my family. I was gonna be moving to a completely different system, which is university level and a public university. And it was gonna start with English because it was just English, even though I come from a public high school where I never spoke English. So I didn't know English and I was still expecting to get hundreds. So if we look at it, I think it's a very crazy expectation to expect to be doing amazing when I had no resources to be doing amazing. Okay, so this expectation that I had, clear now that I'm old, I can say that, yeah, it was crazy. It was completely nuts. But where do you think these crazy or these high expectations come from? Why do you think they're born in the first place?
Well, I think, like you said, there are times where the family is the one who creates that expectations, but I think most of the times what happens is that we don't think in a realistic way, and we hope things that are not realistic to happen, and we believe them because that is what we want. But even we know that is not the thing that is going to happen, but we want it to happen, so we expect that, and then, well, we get disappointed. So
Yes, I agree with that. Okay, Tam, Fabri, and Tani, any comments in regards to that? What's your theory? Where do you think these high expectations come from?
Well, teacher, honestly, I don't know if I am like in the same line, but I think, well, as you said, like things that our family teach us, but I don't know, maybe the things we see on TV or in movies, which are a little bit unreal things, basically. I don't know, I think maybe for that part. Well, in my case, I think of society, because sometimes some people put, I don't know if that's the word, but I'm gonna say stereotypes. I don't know. Well, some people put stereotypes or say things that can affect us.
In my opinion, related to my classmates, is kind of something that we always want to make others like enjoy what we share them. So we try to make them something really good, or what social media sells us, that something that is kind of unreal, to like to be happy or to enjoy it, because we have a lot of imagination, but sometimes reality is very different from what we think.
Exactly, I completely agree with you. And what Faudi said, sometimes reality is very different to what we actually experience. So my question is, right now, if you had to look inward, okay, so if you had to look at your life, what would you say? Well, first of all, is there any high or crazy expectation that you currently hold? So take like a minute and try to look inward, like inside your life, and think about if there is any specific expectation that you are holding, or that you have, that now that you can look at it and say that, I think this could be a little bit crazy. Okay, take a few seconds, and then we're gonna go one by one to see if there is any. There could be, but or maybe there isn't. We'll see. Okay, let's see. Were you able to find any expectations that maybe you're holding on to that may be a little bit unrealistic, or that maybe are a little bit too high? Not because you're not capable enough, because you know that you are amazing, but maybe because based on the current life that you have, maybe it's a little bit too high.
Well, I have one that actually, well, I don't know if it's like an expectation because I don't expect it like to happen, but I want it. So I'm going to, work for it because right now, with all the thing, with all that FundaTEC thing, now I'm going to do the TOEIC, and also I have like the technical medio, I don't know how to say it in English, the one that I get on here in Kotai.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to try to apply for a scholarship out of the country. And that's like more like my dream, but also an expectation because I want to do, I want to try to go for it. And yet I love it to be, for example, in England. I know it's completely very difficult, but yeah, I think that's one.
Okay.
Well,
Well, uh,
sorry. Well, I think, for example, this year I was trying to, I don't know, get along with all my classmates. But well, I have the same motivation today, but sometimes I feel kind of like very shy to like approach them. So it's kind of, I was expecting to get along pretty well with all of them, but sometimes I just like try to be quiet and in my place, as I am like a very shy person. So I don't know sometimes how to approach them.
Okay, that's very interesting actually. Okay, Tani and Tam, how about you? Did you find any expectations that you think maybe are too high?
Well, in my case, I think I have one, but I think that I can do it. And is be an explorer of National Geographic. I don't know, I really like it, and I think that is one of maybe high expectation, I don't know, but I know that I can do it.
Okay.
Well, I don't think I have, but I'm gonna say that maybe I would like when I do my specialty practice.
Mm-hmm. Your
Okay,
practicum?
sorry,
Your practicum.
practicum.
Mhm.
Okay. They will let me work in the company,
Mm-hmm. Okay,
but
go,
sorry,
go. No, go.
no, but I think I could well, sorry, but I don't think I have a very high expectation. I think I can do it too. I don't know.
Okay. It's very interesting because if you think about it, I think all of you said the same thing. I don't think it's a very high expectation, which is interesting because that's one of the first things that we don't think it's too high for us, but maybe it can be a little bit unrealistic. Okay. Do I think that you're all capable of doing this? I think you're completely capable of doing this. I mean, you're very smart. You have proven yourselves here in the course several times. You can tackle it or tackle anything that comes your way. So I think it's not crazy, but it's interesting. I have a question. Maybe it's just for you to, like, food for thought. Um, what would happen if that doesn't become true? Because right now, as we say in paper, it sounds pretty good. Because, for example, I could tell you, in my opinion, no, in my case, something that I want to do is I want to get a PhD, which is a doctorate, postdoctorate, studies in England, just as Alice said. And I have found one that I love. There's one that I am obsessed with, and I think it's great, and it will look beautiful on my resume. And it's something that I'm genuinely interested in. It's psycholinguistics, and I really like linguistics, and psychology to me is just mind-blowing. So like mixing both things in only one major would be like, wow. So, but again, I mean, I know that it's not like I want to start right now because literally I'm just waiting for my graduation from the master's. So, I mean, I haven't even graduated from one and I'm already looking for another one. But sometimes we need to think, what would happen if I don't get this? Would I feel frustrated? Would I feel that I'm not good enough? What would happen? That's it. That's the question that I'm not expecting you to answer because sometimes we don't have the answer for that. But it's just a question that I'm leaving, there for you to think about. What I do want to tell you about that is that, based on my opinion, because it's not based on my opinion, but what I can tell you is if this thing that you have already envisioned and seen as something that you want to get, something that you want to grasp, something tangible doesn't become true, make sure that by that moment you are aware of how amazing you are. Because sometimes, and it's, I mean, I'm not saying it's your case, but I have seen this. Sometimes people that are amazing, like really, really good, they are trying to get something and they don't get it. And they think that not getting this, it's in a way, how can I say it? It's like a determiner, or not a determiner, but it's something that shows their worth. Okay, so if they don't get it, they're not that good. They're not good enough, or they are not as amazing as they thought they were. So think about that and make sure that you, I mean, something that I like about all of you is that I think you're pretty aware, like self-aware. And now that we're even talking about mental health and all these different things, it's something that we're going to be expanding on as well, because I actually decided to have more than one class about this. But yes, so think about that, because I wouldn't like to see that if you don't get this, you will be disappointed in yourself. Because, for example, what if Tam doesn't get a full-time position in the company that she goes and she does her practicum for? And she's like, no, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I don't know enough. Maybe something. Would that be a possibility? And again, the fact that Tam might not get that doesn't mean that she's not good enough. Because I think Tam is incredibly intelligent and an amazing person. So I think that any company would be, like very smart to hire her. But we need to be careful about that, about those expectations and what would happen if we don't get them.
Yes, teacher, because I don't know what I'm going to do. I always say that if they don't let me work there, I don't know, I'm going to feel very, very bad for a long time, because I really love the company and I like to work there.
I know, I mean, and I know, and I think you're great, and I think there are very high chances of you getting a job there. But that's what I was saying. Sometimes we think like, oh no, it's not a high expectation. Like, I'm prepared for this. But that's why I say, what would you do if you don't get this? For example, in the case of Ale, what if Ale is not able to go out and get his bachelor's degree in England, and he has to go to any of the universities that we have here in Costa Rica? Would that diminish his accomplishment? So think about, again, I'm not expecting you to answer, but think about those things, because again, and I can tell you this, I mean, you have received an amount of opportunities that many people here in the country only dream of getting. I mean, if I could, I mean, when I was your age, meaning like hundreds of years ago, I would have never thought, or I would have never imagined I could have your English level at this moment. Because I mean, I have my English level and I know it's good, but my point is, after many years of working on it and degrees and everything, so I would have never thought when I was your age that I could actually have that English level. So if I could have had your English level when I was your age, I would have been, I mean, probably on cloud 9. So you have had a lot of opportunities already, and you're very smart. You are succeeding in life, because the fact that you're going through high school and you're getting good grades, that you have this amazing English level and all these things, and you're even thinking about like going to study abroad, and you even have the possibility to do the practicum in a different company or in stuff like that. But sometimes I think that we as a society, not we, but as a society, we don't pay that much attention to small or like baby steps. For example, I'm gonna use Fabri's example. Fabri said that he is trying to be more social, but sometimes he wants to stay in his place and maybe not talk to everybody. But what if we, instead of saying that, we say like, oh, Fabri stopped being in his place every single day, and he's been able to go some days now and socialize and talk to people. That could be like seen as a great milestone because he's no longer only staying in his place. He's letting himself to go to socialize, to to be surrounded by other people. So even if it's just 1 day per week, he's doing that. So we should look at the success that this is causing in his life. Even if it's just little by little, you're gonna be, like creating a pyramid. Okay, next question, because I know we got very philosophical. And boy, I think that's the whole thing with mental health, that we just get into this thing that we really start questioning everything that we're doing, that we're not doing, and stuff like that. Okay. If I asked you right now, what do you need in this specific moment to be completely happy? What would you say? Right now, like anything. Like if I say, okay, what do you need to be 100% happy? What would you say? Think
Well,
about
teacher,
that.
that's like, I think the most complex question you can do someone, because I think it's like you have to have a balance between every aspect of your life being good, and not even that, just that being impossible or almost impossible, but also the fact that even if you get that, maybe you are not going to be completely happy.
Mhm.
So it's impossible to, get an answer.
Maybe it's not.
No, teacher, I don't know. That's a really difficult question.
Keep
Teacher, what do you think about it?
Okay, I want to tell you about me. What do I need right now to be completely happy? Um, I'm gonna be honest. I actually think that I'm completely happy at the moment. Why? Let me tell you why. Not because I'm rich or anything, because I'm not rich and I'm far away from being rich. I wish I were rich, but I'm not rich. But I think the reason why I would say that I'm very like happy right now or completely happy is because I am aware of the fact that not every single day is going to be a great day. That there are going to be amazing days, but there are going to be days that are also going to be tiring. And I'm okay with that. And I actually value those days that are tiring or maybe a little bit sad or something, because I know that if there is a sad day, there's going to be another day that's going to be happy. So I have found this ability to understand this and to, in a way, appreciate those days. Because again, I know not every day I'm going to be smiling and super energetic and super fully rested and, like that. But I know that they're going to be good and bad days. And right now, in my case, it's something funny because I don't know if you know this, but I used to work in a place and I was doing really good. I was not teaching, I was doing something else. And when I was going to leave the place, everybody, even my family, they were like, "Oh my God, no, you must be crazy. How can you think about leaving that place to go back to teaching?" And I said, "I want to teach. That's what I really want to do. So I'm just going to leave this place." And I left a bigger salary and I left many other things and benefits just to come and teach. And I can tell you that of course, I have made several decisions throughout after I left the place. And right now I am working in 2 places here, FundaTEC and a different place. And right now I'm actually very happy. I'm very happy with the 2 places that I am part of. So, and I know I'm maybe not the best teacher, but every day I try to understand what is it that I am doing and think about how can I make it better? How can I improve? But if I'm not able to improve for the next day, I don't feel bad. And I'm like, "Oh, you're so bad." Like, and start like hitting myself because I know, like, not every day is gonna be an amazing day. So understanding this has helped me a lot to kind of be in the moment, like to be present. So of course, if I got $10 million, I could be in Paris having an amazing dinner at the Eiffel Tower. But still, I mean, I'm not there, but I'm pretty happy. And tomorrow, for example, it's a day that I'm going to San Carlos because day before, today's Thursday. On Tuesday, Tuesday, I think, yes, on Tuesday, it was my dad's birthday. So I called him and everything. So this weekend I'm gonna go there. And I'm actually pretty excited to go there and see my family because I know I'm gonna see them, I'm gonna spend time with them, I'm gonna see my nephews, my nieces, everything, everyone, and I want to be able to go cycling, and I love cycling. So I'm excited about these little things that life is offering me and appreciating them and the presence they have in my life. So I do think that I'm very happy at the moment. And it's interesting because now that before when I mentioned the PhD, the postdoctorate degree that I want to get, I have said, I do want to get it. And I think it'll be amazing to get it. But I also have said, if I don't have the chance to go and study in England and get this scholarship, I'm not gonna be like killing myself because I was not good enough. I'm just gonna say maybe it was not the opportunity for me. Maybe it's for somebody else. I already have gotten enough. I already have a master's degree in applied linguistics, which I think it's great. I'm just gonna enjoy what I have. So I think that it's that I'm no longer holding myself to a higher level of expectations. Like not like I'm not doing my best. I'm doing my best, but if I'm doing the best with what I can. So that has helped me. So that is my answer. So you see, Ale, there could be an answer. Of course, that would mean something different for everybody. Because maybe for you right now, it could be that. It could be, for example, for Ali, could be going and spending the whole summer vacation in England. Summer, there in the London Eye, in the Parliament, and all these different places that London has that are just beautiful, or England, or just Europe. But it will be interesting to find out what is it that you need right now to be fully happy. Okay, now for the next part. So just to wrap up, there is something that they mentioned in the video that I really liked, which I think it's great. And I hope you can actually internalize this, like, like embrace it. And it says that we should stop competing with the world and others, and we should start competing with ourselves. Okay? Why was this phrase so important to me? Because again, I think sometimes we're competing or we're looking at other people and we're saying, oh my God, how is it possible that he or she is so successful or so pretty or so handsome or so good or so that. But I mean, some life works in a very interesting way. So sometimes we don't have an explanation for that. But if we start competing with ourselves and we are like, okay, so right now, for example, in your cases, maybe Tam can say, today I got to the job at, I don't know, 7. I'm gonna try to get tomorrow 5 minutes before. I was able to do this report or do this, I don't know, program or something. I'm gonna try to think, how can I make this better? How can I, but not feel bad if you don't make it better. Just try to be better because you're competing against yourself, not because you're comparing yourself to other people. Because again, if you compare yourself to other people, I think we as human beings, we are very good at making the other person look amazing and making us look not so great. So we need to make sure that if we're comparing ourselves to someone, that is ourselves and not somebody else. Because something my dad says all the time, he says, there's always, always, always going to be someone better and someone worse than you. Someone that does things better and someone that is really bad at whatever he or she is doing. So if we look at it, the best thing that we can do is compare ourselves to ourselves, meaning to compete with ourselves to try to find the best version of ourselves. How can we be really responsible? How can we be very, I don't know, polite, very professional, I think all these things, and look at, there's something very important. There's only one version of you. There's only one Tani, there's only one Tam, one Fauri, one Ali. So no one is going to be you the way that you can be you. So the best thing that you can do is to learn how to be the best version of yourself and compete with yourselves. Okay? Any final thoughts?
Well, I think it's kind of also related to that thing that you imagine something from someone, but it's just in your mind. So also it's compete against you, and also try to fight against your own bad thoughts sometimes, like to overcome all these things and become the best version of yourself.
Exactly. And something that I just remember, I think it was last class that we were talking about that, no, it was not last class, it was the class before it, that we talked about how to live a stress-free life. And I think most of us actually agreed on something, and it's that we're all overthinkers. That we're always overthinking. Probably that's why we get along so well, because we're overthinkers. We should have a group. Hey, it's me here overthinking again. So that's one thing. We need to make sure that we're able to understand when we are overthinking and when we're not. We need to make sure that we're able to find these practices where when we can say, oh, I think I'm overthinking. Let me stop. It happened to me something really fun, and it was that I have a friend, one of my best friends, she's an overthinker. Thank you. So one day she was really worried about her boyfriend, and she was like, "Oh my God, what if something happened to him?" And I was like, "Why are we getting there? Like, what would you think that?" And she was like, he hasn't texted me like in 2 hours." And I was like, "What if he's driving?" And she was like, "But what if he's not?" And I was like, "So if you're not driving, you should be texting, otherwise you're dead." And she was like, and we both laughed, and I was like, that's how crazy it sounds what you're saying. I was like, don't overthink. Maybe his phone died. Maybe he left it in the office. Maybe something happened. I mean, so just wait. I mean, it hasn't been 24 hours. So just wait to find out what happened to him. And then I'm sure there is a logical explanation for everything. But it's not like if you're not texting, you're dead. So now we actually joke around that, and we're like, every time that we see him, it's like, so I'm not texting. That means that I'm about to die. And she was like, stop it. I was like, okay. Now, I created a very quick and very simple presentation where we can talk about mental health. But there is something that I really like, and is that we're gonna be addressing this in a different way. We're gonna think about it being like, is it a myth or a truth? Okay. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you. It's not the best presentation. It's not really pretty, but it has information. So I hope that we can get the best out of it. You should be able to look at my screen now. Can you see it?
Yes, teacher.
Awesome. Okay, so let's go over each one of the different myths or truths. So we're gonna start in the first one. I'm gonna ask Tam. Tam, can you read the first one and tell us what you think?
Mental health illnesses are something that only adults suffer from. Myths,
Do you think it's a myth?
yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's no way. I mean, I think a mental health can be for anyone. And that is something that I like, that nowadays people are paying more attention to this and finding out that it doesn't matter if you're 3 years old or if you're 60 years old, you can be with anxiety, depression, or something. It's not just, I mean, like age, it's not necessarily linked to this. Okay, the next one, Ale.
People with mental illness will struggle with work, study, and life in general. Well, I think it can be true, but it can be helped. I don't know how to explain it.
But
Mhm.
take your time, like you can elaborate on it.
Okay, I think I think it's in part true because I think mental illness is something that really affects your daily life. But I think it's also myth because I don't think it's something that you can control. And well, in a lot of cases, it can be held and controlled. So I think it's more like a myth than a fact, but I don't.
I think I, in a way, agree with you in a way. I think it's more like a fact than a myth, like the opposite. But let me tell you why. Because I think maybe that when we read it, it sounds like yes, like for sure you will struggle. So I don't think that's what they mean in a way. But if we look at it from the fact that it is very normal for people with a mental illness to actually struggle, we know that's true. That's a fact. Um, it doesn't mean that every day is gonna be a bad day, because again, we know there are good and bad days. So I think that as a person, you're gonna have very good days and you're gonna have bad days. The important part is getting help and understanding, okay, am I going through a bad day? What can I do? Can I talk to someone? Do I have a psychologist that I can go to? Do I have any practices? For example, sometimes when we are dealing with something, it helps with that to actually understand what we're feeling and do something about it. In my case, when I'm feeling down, I either read, cook, bake, or go to the gym or work out. Sometimes going for a walk, cycling, doing something. So, but I already know the way that I work. So I know that if I start doing any of these activities, chances are that I might feel better. So that's why we need to understand what are the things that we like and that help us to be more present. And that is something that we're gonna touch in a few minutes. Next one, Tani.
Having a mental illness makes life much more difficult. It's tough to live independently when you are an adult to look after yourself or find a home. Mm,
I love Tani's face. She's really like struggling. She's like, is it a myth? Is it a fact? Let me think about it. Let me process this whole thing.
well, I think can I think can be could be true because in when you oh well yes when you are adult you are um in in a way alone. I mean your parents isn't always with you, so I think that could be a little bit difficult and and well I honestly don't know, but I think for that part could be true.
Okay. Guys, do you agree? Do you disagree?
Well, the fact, well, I don't know, teacher, when it says that it's tough to live independently, it means that when you're having that mental illness to live alone.
Are you asking me?
Yes, like
Okay.
is if it says it's tough to live independently, but it means when you are having that mental illness or just when you live independently.
I honestly don't know because again, this is the way that I mean this is something that I found. So I wouldn't say I think they are posting this the way that I think is that it was phrased to say that if you have a mental illness, going to live independently would not be possible or will be more difficult, regardless of if it's a good or a bad day. So if you have a mental illness, you will not be able to go and live independently. That's what I understood from it.
Teacher,
Mhm.
sorry, I think that it's not impossible,
Mhm.
but could be difficult. So I don't know if I think it's a myth or a truth.
I mean,
Um,
go.
sorry.
No, go, go, go.
Um. Well, I don't know because I think could be difficult if you have a mental illness, but it's not impossible. I think it's not impossible.
I actually agree with you. So I think it's more of a myth than a truth because again, there are hundreds, millions of people that have a mental illness and they live alone. They're completely independent. They are great. I mean, they're successful. It's just that they have to deal with that. So, I mean, and thank God, most of them or some of them already know what is it that they are experiencing or suffering, so they know how to work with it. Of course, they have had really bad days, but they know how to do it. So I think this is just boxing people in a way, in one category and saying, no, if you have a mental illness, you will not be able to. No, I don't agree with that at all. I think that you can still have a mental illness and still be a completely successful person who lives independently and who can take care of himself or herself. Is it difficult? It is, but even for people who don't have a mental illness, and I can tell you my experience. I mean, I have lived alone for many years by now. Due to the pandemic, I moved with my parents for like a year and a half or something like that. And then I went back to, well, I came back to Heredia. So when I came back, it was still difficult to adapt to live alone again because in my house, I have my parents, my sister, my nephews live right across from my parents' house. So I have all this company. And when I came back to live alone, it was just me. Good size, there was no noise. So I could wake up at 10 a.m. if I wanted to. But also there was no company because didn't have my nephews, my nieces, anyone else. So still it was difficult, but it's possible and it's completely doable. So it doesn't matter if you have a mental illness or not, it's gonna be challenging, never impossible. Fardy.
Well, mental illnesses are for life. There is no recovery. Sometimes, for example, if people suffer from autism, I think it's something that is going to be always there for them because it's a problem they have. But for example, if it's kind of a depression you're having or you're dealing with, it's something that can be like um that you can deal with it and you can overcome it in some years with some kind of therapy or some people's help, so you can recover from it. it's also something very well. It's this thing that the fact that your mind, your brain is so powerful on the decisions you take that it depends also on how do you face with it. Sometimes people think that those who suffer from autism, they won't succeed, but in fact they like achieve more things than other people, and they tend to have a lot of success. So it's something that sometimes for those who have like a problem that comes from her, it's their birth. It's something that you can deal with it. But if it's something that you experienced in a moment in your life, you can overcome it. So it's kind of a myth, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, I mean, there is no, I mean, it applies for, it applies, no, it does not apply for every single person, because as you said, there are people that may have a condition that might be a little bit more difficult to overcome, but it's, I mean, they're not necessarily for life. As you said, if someone is going through depression, the person can go to therapy, can understand the origin of that depression, walk through, do a lot of things, and then get over it. And there are many other things, even for someone who is autistic, they can get so many skills and become so good at mastering what they are not so good at, that at the end, sometimes it's difficult to even think about that this person has something. So yes, I would say it's a little bit more of a myth than of a truth. That's what I would say. Okay, Tam, you ready?
There's no point in talking about mental illnesses. Medicine is the best and only way to feel better. No, I think it could be a lot of ways. If you, I don't know, if you talk with your friends, if you do exercise, if you do a hobby, maybe you could feel better. So I think it's a myth.
I wholeheartedly agree with you, like 1000%. I think this is my very personal opinion, but I think in the past, this is one of the big issues that people wouldn't talk about what they were, the way that they were feeling. And sometimes just talking about something would make you feel better because you're getting out of your system. Sorry. So I completely 100, 1000%, 1,000,000,000% agree with you. Sometimes just talking to a friend or having something or just getting a hug. Sometimes we just need something like that. It's gonna make us feel better. And medicines are good, but they are not necessarily the best thing. Sometimes we don't even have to get to the medicine part and take anything to feel better. Ale.
Mental illnesses make people violent, aggressive, and dangerous. Well, I think it depends on what kind of mental illness are we talking about, but I think it can be a fact, yeah. Some of them can. I mean, it depends on what kind of it. Yeah.
I actually disagree with that a little bit. Mostly, I love the rolling eyes. That was really you. That was very you.
Uh,
But the reason why is because based on my opinion, sorry, my opinion, my experience, the people that I have seen with mental illness more often than not, I'm not saying every time, but I would say 95% of the times they're not violent. They're quite the opposite. So I would say that this is completely a myth, because again, it can happen to some people, but I would say it's not a commonality. It's not like the most common thing to happen. And who's next? Tani. But I respect your point of view, Ale, and if you think so, and if you have seen that, I'm okay with that. Tani, go for it.
Some minority,
Minorities.
minorities
Mhm.
are more vulnerable to mental illness than others. Well,
Your face is very like question mark. Like I don't know.
mm, it's like, I mean, refers like just um less people, like less people are, or I
Ah, you
don't
don't
know.
understand the statement.
No.
Okay, we can start there. What the statement implies is, for example, let me explain. Are you familiar with the concept of minorities?
It's like in Spanish,
No.
minorías.
Exactly. But
Uh-huh.
minorías doesn't necessarily mean that it's just like como grupitos. In a way, yes. But what it means is that, for example, what the statement implies is that if you're part of a minority, you are more likely to suffer a mental illness. Okay. For example, if you are, for example, if you were part of the LGBTQ plus something community, you will be more likely to have a mental illness. But if you are not, for example, if you are a straight heterosexual woman, then you wouldn't be so likely affected by a mental illness. Okay. So that's what it says, that becoming or being part of a minority would increase your chances of being more vulnerable or more likely or more how can I say, yeah, like more vulnerable to get a mental illness. Better.
Yes, thank you. In that case, I think it's completely myth. I think that be a part of a minority
Minority.
minority doesn't mean that you are more vulnerable to mental illness. I think it's a myth.
Thank you. I agree. And I think, I mean, it doesn't matter if you are white, if you're black, if you're yellow, if you're orange, if you're a woman, a boy, whatever you are, you're still affected in the same way, or you still have the chance of getting a mental illness. So for example, because in the past, people would say, I know women are more likely to get a mental illness because they're like so sweet and soft. Guess what? Then people got statistics, and the statistics show that men were more likely to commit suicide than women. Why? Because men were not talking. Men were being strong and you know, like independent and everything. But inside, maybe they were cracking because they couldn't express the way that they felt. So a lot of men were committing suicide. So that when that happened, I was like, take it, because I was like, it's not women, it's human beings. I mean, it's just looking at people from that, like anyone is exposed to, anyone is vulnerable. We're all exposed to getting anything. So it's just understanding the way that we are and making sure that we are able to find a way to, you know, walk through life in a very pleasant way. Faudi.
Only weak people are diagnosed with mental illnesses. But sorry, teacher, what does it refer when it says weak people?
It could be, I mean, again, there are many ways in which this could be interpreted, but I would say maybe what the statement tries to say is these people that are weak in character. So maybe they don't have a very strong personality or a very well-formed personality, that they are the ones that could be more affected by it. It sometimes can be seen, for example, again, I'm just saying this is my interpretation, so it could be different, but maybe sometimes it could be these people that are very sensible or these type of things that they are more affected by it. So this could be encapsulated as what weak people is referring based on what the statement says. Again, I'm not saying this is the only interpretation, but I'm saying that's the one that I get from that statement.
Well, I think there are two sides. For example, people that try to express as if they were very rude and try to bully others. It's kind of they are thought to have a strong character, as they always tend to insult others, but they are weak inside. So I think they have this mental illness because of an internal need that they have. Also, people that don't fight or don't hold an opinion that they think, and they just let others try to blame them if, for example, there was a mistake that was committed. So they try just to be quiet and not talk. It's because sometimes they are of a very weak character. I think it's kind of true for me, because weak people are, well, when we see strong people, strong willed to doing something, they tend to be determined to it, and I think they may not achieve what they want, but they know how to continue working to it. So I think it's true for me.
Okay. Okay. In a way, I mean, that interpretation is also very valid. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think if I could add something to that, I would say, my opinion, I would say a mental illness is not necessarily the result of personality. Maybe it's just a result of, it can be trauma, or it can be other things that are, or have happened in your life. And that's why, in a way, it's bursting with this way, which is like a way of getting it out of your system. But yes, I agree. Okay, guys, the time has come for all of us to experience, to live, to have the pleasure of going through Alice's speaking session. Look at the good thing. I mean, at least I make you laugh, Alice. So, I mean, next semester when you're not here, you're gonna miss me, because you're gonna be like, oh, that silly teacher is not here. So, okay, Ale, whenever you're ready, you can start with your presentation. I already made available for you to share, so you can start sharing your screen at any moment.
Okay, so, okay. So, okay, here it is. Well, good night, everyone. Right now, I'm going to be talking about the next thing, three amazing cities and, their respective cultures. I'm going to begin with a little bit of introduction. So, specifically, I am going to be talking about, three cities in the world that I really love and I really think are really interesting. And I'm going to explain, for example, the best places to visit, the culture, and, the most important thing about that city specifically in each of the cases. After each city I talk about, I'm going to be making like some questions about, traveling experiences, places you'd like to visit, etc. So before we get started with the first of them all, let me, give you a hint for you to, guess which is the first city. So here are the hints. This city is known as the City of Future. It's the most populated city in the world, and it's also located in Asia. Do you have any idea of which city is this?
Come on, guys, don't be shy. Which one do you think is the city? I'm gonna give you a clue. It's not Costa Rica. It's not San Jose. So which one do you think it is? It's in Asia. Okay, Tani, which one do you think it is?
Well, I Tokyo.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Yeah.
Okay.
That was a really
Well,
good patazo.
but yeah, the first city I'm going to talk about is Tokyo, the metropolis of the future. And I'm going to give you a little bit of story about the country itself, about Japan. You know, history of Japan is that of a country which during the last century has undergone a social change of great magnitude, as you may know, going from being a nation completely at war, completely focused on that, to investing in cutting edge technology and technological development. Well, Asia is nowadays one of the biggest, parts of the world that is focused on technological development, and Japan is one of the most important countries related to it. They have also become a nation that is more open to the West, for example, to American and Europe, producing a lot of highly relevant content into, like I said, the American and European continents. Let's see. Some main things about Tokyo. It is well known that some of the main characteristics of Tokyo are its large buildings, its giant shopping areas, and cutting-edge technology, like literally everywhere. It's amazing. So, how is the culture of society in Japan? Really, Japanese culture is characterized to a large extent by being close toward others and based almost entirely on respect. You know, although this is not completely true, it is to a great extent, and that affects the way in which a foreigner can experience a visit to this country. Japanese culture, it's actually very different from ours on a social, work, and love level. Perhaps a foreigner stays only a few days or weeks is not going to notice it. But if you stay for living like a couple of months, you will really notice the countless differences. For example, they don't really talk about feelings, they don't do the same things that we do. They don't go to a friend or to, I don't know, to their parents to talk about their own problems. Most of the times they only hide them. And the only way they have to open to others is actually through the alcohol. And I think that's something very interesting because that's pretty different from our society where we are very, very, get used to be open with people we trust on and talk problems. I think that is something pretty interesting about their culture, sorry. Now, which are for me some of the most interesting things to do in Tokyo? There are many interesting destinations in Tokyo, of course there are. Some of them can be visiting the famous Tokyo Tower, that is one of the most, you know, interesting locations in the city. Also, the Tokyo Imperial Castle, or the famous neighborhoods of Shibuya, Akihabara, or Asakusa, which are giant, literally giant markets of almost everything. I have seen a lot of, pictures, and they are really amazing. In the same way, it is also well known that there are many places of great interest for people with a special taste for video games, comics, anime, etc., due to the magnitude and importance of these markets in many areas of the city, where more than one niche, they are the main market. And maybe here, for example, in Costa Rica, or in general in this part of the world, we don't see that, very often. But in Japan, it's something that is completely normal because it's part of their culture. It's part of their culture change, and it's something that really represents them. Now, here are some, curious facts about the city, about Tokyo. For example, one curious fact about Tokyo is that Tokyo is the city in the entire world with the biggest quantity of restaurants that own at least one Michelin star. which is also the reason why some people call it the capital of gastronomy. Actually, like the teacher is now, I was really surprised when I found out about this. Because you know, you when you think about food, gastronomy, where you think maybe you think about, I don't know, a lot of places in the world, but you don't think about Japan in the first moment. And when I found out about this, I was really amazed. Yeah. Also, Tokyo is a city in the world that has the largest number of neon lights. And you might know it may seem like useless information, but it really makes you wonder how its culture is so influenced by this cyberpunk environment, by these futurist things, and how do they really love it? I mean, it's something that really represents them, at least on my opinion.
And sorry, I just interrupt, guys. In case I don't know if you're are you familiar with the Michelin star? What it means? Because the Michelin star is the highest type of compliment a restaurant can get. So if you eat in a place that has a Michelin star, it means that their food is not good. It's created by God, like by zeus, like just every bite of it is like an out-of-body experience.
Yeah,
So,
I know. Sorry.
Go.
No, I know for MasterChef.
Oh, I've never watched MasterChef. I should start watching MasterChef. Is it good? Do you recommend it? Tammy's like, let me think about it. Let me just simmer that idea a
Well,
little.
I don't know. I like it. I
Okay,
don't
I'll think about it. Yeah, because I really like cooking, so I think that would be great. But yes, I mean, honestly, I have never eaten in a place that has a Michelin star, but I am dying to do so. Like, I would love to. Wow, I didn't know that. I'm super shocked by that. I'm gonna have to go to Tokyo. I have never, honestly, and I'm sorry to this, I have never thought about going to Tokyo, but now this is a really strong reason for me to go to Tokyo.
Yeah, it's literally amazing. I was completely shocked because I never thought like about Japan being one of the, biggest countries in the world, like with food, related to food. And then I was like, wow, I mean, amazing. But
Indeed,
yeah,
so cool.
now question time. I'm gonna be making some questions to you. So let me begin with this one. Which are your favorite places to travel? It can be in the country or out the country, places that you have been before and you would be completely, good and comfortable with going again.
Well, um, I don't know. I think, well, I don't know if you refer like that, but I like places in the mountains with waterfalls, that kind of things.
Yeah, that's a good one. Actually, I like that too.
In my case, well, I like a lot Playa Hermosa, so I like to visit it in the country, and I like to visit it like once a year.
Playa Hermosa. I think I've never been on there. In which province it is? Is in Punta Arenas or in Guanacaste?
No, in Guanacaste.
Yeah, I think I have heard a lot of that place. I have to go. Someone else?
Well, I love I love to go to the beaches, so I don't know, Playa Rajadita or something like that. I really like Costa Rica's beaches, so yeah.
Yeah. And Playa Rajadita, where is it? Where is it located?
Where is that? It's because I don't remember.
I think it's in Guanacaste, but I don't know where because I think I have heard the name.
Mm, yeah, actually, I think it's the first time I heard about it. But yeah, I think the name was pretty interesting, so I wanted to know. But yeah. Okay. So, which is your favorite trip that you have done? The best place that you have gone, your favorite one, a place that you really like.
Well,
Disney.
In my case, Disney in Orlando, Florida. I love it. Well, I really liked that trip, like Tamara, but also I love when I went to La Cruz and to do snorkel.
Yeah. Actually, I've never been before on Disney. I think, well, I do really want to go. So yeah. Anyone else? Or...
Hey, I can participate a little bit here. Oh gosh, there have been so many. Okay, outside of the country, I would say my favorite trip would be when I went to Europe. It was a really pretty experience. I mean, it was not pretty, it was just mind-blowing. That's the truth. And outside of that one, I would say the other one that was inside the country was on my birthday, like 2 years ago, I think. 2 or 3 years ago. No, like 2 years ago, I think. That I went to. It was very unexpected. It was so crazy because it was my birthday, and I just said, I want to go to a waterfall. That's it. That's all I wanted to do. And one of my friends said, like, okay, I'm going with you. I don't know where, but we're going together. So I was very happy. At the end, I heard that some people from the place that I was training, I was doing CrossFit, so they were going to a waterfall that specific day. So it was just, and then I just went and I talked to them. I had never talked to them, not that much. And I said, hey, is it true they're going to a waterfall? Like, they were like, yeah. So I was like, can we like join you? And they were like, yeah, sure, why not? So it was my favorite because I got to see like 5 different waterfalls. They were all with the water like light blue. It was beautiful. And at the end, I also made some friends. So I was doing something that I love, which is, like getting into waterfalls, like experiencing the whole experience, being in nature. And also I also made friends, which sometimes for me is difficult because I'm very shy. So that's why up to this day, that has been one of my favorite dates. Everything happened on my birthday. And to finish, I found like in a small bracelet that said, I don't know how to pronounce the phrase, but it's like carpe diem, which you probably have heard, which is seize the day, which is to enjoy every moment. So I remember that I left that day thinking about it. I was like, this is very interesting. I mean, it has been such a great day, and I was living in the moment, and at the end I got that. So that was like the cherry on top, just as a reminder that sometimes we need to enjoy those small things.
Teacher, actually, that's a really good story. Actually, I want to do something like that one day. Like, I really love waterfalls actually, and I haven't had the opportunity to go like many of them. So yeah, I'd like to do something like that. And well, the next one, and last for now, do you consider that Tokyo is a city that you would like to visit to go? And if your answer is yes, why?
Well, in my case, my answer is yes, because as you said, Tokyo has a lot of beautiful cities, and also for the food, because I really like to try new foods. And now I know that Tokyo, it's a good place to try different food.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
I'm gonna be honest, it had not been a place that I wanted to visit, but now that I heard about this about gastronomy, it just became a place that I really want to visit.
I totally agree with you, teacher, with the thing that Alice said, that it's like, I don't know, that hour, the milestone. Now I want to visit Tokyo because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I think that's, like I said before, pretty amazing. And it was before one city I wanted to visit, but it is even more now that I realized that fact. It's amazing. Honestly, it's amazing. So now I'm going to go to the second city. I'm going to give you some hints again. So the first one is that is the capital of one country that is well known for its patties and also for their specific dance style. Also, well, this country is known as the king of soccer for a lot of people, and it's located on America. So which one do you think it is?
I think it's Rio de Janeiro.
Which one?
Rio de Janeiro.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I don't know why you thought you were going to say that country, but yeah, it's Rio de Janeiro. Yeah, you're completely right. So, Rio de Janeiro, yeah, the city of samba. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit of story about Brazil itself. So, history of Brazil is a really complex one, and which is today the greatest exponent in many aspects, such as soccer and South American dance. And through history, it has gone through a great series of changes. But I think that is what that has made them like such a frequently joyous and festive country. And I think that is something we can really appreciate because when we think about Brazil, we think about carnivals, we think about dance, we think about parties. And I think that's the image they want to have. And I think it's pretty interesting. Now, some main facts about Rio de Janeiro. It is well known that this city is known worldwide for many reasons, such as its historical stadium, El Maracanã. But possibly the reason why it has the greatest recognition is thanks to its huge carnivals celebrated annually. And I don't know if you have seen like videos or pictures about them, but they're amazing. I mean, they're enormous. And when I say enormous, it's like really enormous. And I'd really, like to go there one day because I think it's pretty interesting how they organize that, you know, quantity of people and things, and it just looks so good. But I'm going to get going. So, how is the culture of the society in Brazil? Brazilian culture, unlike the Japanese, for example, is very more open. It is like its country, well known for its love of partying, soccer, and well, everything that leads to a relaxed and joyful life. But of course, it's not as superficial as that. It's just the way they like to be seen by foreigners. And that is the way they have grown seeing their country be. So I think that is the reason they, have that kind of lifestyle. And I think it's something pretty good, something pretty interesting, and something that we can learn about. Now, this is for me, these are one of the most interesting things to do in Rio de Janeiro. And as you may know, there are several locations of interest for all foreigners when visiting the city. Some of these locations may be the sculpture of Jesus known as El Cristo Redentor, which is visited daily by hundreds of people, or the famous Maracanã Stadium that I mentioned before, which has witnessed today two World Cup finals and which has great historical value for the country. Of course, although this is not a location, it is important to mention the incredible carnivals held there annually as a must for every traveler. Now, some interesting facts about Rio de Janeiro. An interesting fact is that the dance style known as samba originated in the city, which is very characteristic of the Brazilian culture. Another interesting fact can be that El Cristo Redentor is struck by lightning every year. Compared to the rest of the world, Brazil is the country with the highest incidence of lightning. In the city of Rio de Janeiro, electric shocks threaten one of the main symbols of the city, Christ Redeemer, or Cristo Redentor, one of the seven wonders of the world. Now, that I talk about Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, and its culture, I'm going to make you some questions again. So, for you, which is the place in the world you'd like to visit the most? And, well, why?
Well, I don't remember the name of the place, but it's a place where you can see the aurora boreal,
The Northern Lights.
the northern lights.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I think, well, I'm gonna say why. Basically because I think it's amazing and it's so beautiful. I don't know, I think it's other completely other world, and I don't know, I would like to visit that place to see that amazing lives.
Yeah, it's amazing actually. I think you're able to see them if you go to, the north parts of Canada. I think in Canada, I'm not sure. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not pretty sure, but I think in Canada you can see them. But yeah,
I think there are many, sorry, I think there are many countries in where you can actually see them. It's interesting because that's one of my dreams as well. And but I there's one specific country that I do want to go. I know that there you can see them, of course, during a specific time of the year. But in that country, the one that I know is Iceland. In Iceland, you can see them, but Iceland it's very expensive, very, very expensive, either to get there by plane or and to be there, to live there, to eat. Everything there is expensive. But yes, that was actually the place I was going to mention. I'm dying to go to Iceland. I would love to. Sam and Fabri, how about you guys?
I don't know, maybe Mexico because I really want to taste their spicy food and see their views, and I don't know, I like it.
yeah, it's actually pretty nice. Thanks. And Fabi, you have something to say?
Yes, I am very interested about Kaptagat is one place located in Kenya to see the Kenyans are running, those who are very well recognized for being like long distance best athletes.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds pretty interesting. So, okay, if you had, the chance of going on a trip around any countries of the world, which ones would you choose? I don't know, two or three.
Just 2 or 3
Yeah.
countries.
No, I mean, you can say more if you want, but I mean, yeah,
It's because if you say that I can choose any countries, I am gonna say that I would like going a trip on all the countries. I don't know, I just want meet all the countries and their cultures and their customs and their food and all of them.
well, thanks. Yeah,
In
I
my
actually, yeah, no, no, go.
sorry. In my case, maybe France, and New York, and Iceland.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, I would like to go to England, um, Switzerland, and well, Kenya as well.
Pretty good choices, actually. I agree with you. And well, I don't know if the teacher wanted to say something.
No, but how about you, Ale?
How about me? Well, I think I would say probably England, Japan, and Italy. Those three.
If I had to
Yeah.
choose, I would say there are many places I want to visit, to be honest. Well, East Iceland, England, but England, I would like to do like a road trip, like driving and everything. I don't know, I'm just dying to do that. And um, wait, I have more. Oh, Germany. It's a place that I've been dying to visit. In Thailand, I would love to go to Thailand because I'm obsessed with elephants. So I would love to go to one of these places. I forgot their names, where you can feed them and bathe them and everything. I would love to go and like take care of elephants. So, but all these, I mean, like they're like these completely different. So they're not even close to one another.
Yeah. Well, thanks. And well, do you think that Brazil and Rio de Janeiro are like interesting places? And well, why?
Well, in my case, yes, I really like their dances, and I don't know, but I think that they have like a different energy, like they are more happier, or I don't know why I think that, but I think that they have good energy, and they are like happy.
Yeah, I agree with you. Anyone else?
I don't know how to say it in English, but I would like to see the place in which the favelas are located.
Yeah, actually, that's pretty interesting actually. Anyone else? Okay, so well, I'm gonna get going now. I'm going to give you, hints for last time because this is going to be the last city I'm going to be talking about. So, well, first them is that it is located on Europe, that the country of this city still has a monarchy today, and that the city is well known for being a representation of elegance itself, you can say. If it's not enough, well, I have talked about this country, the country of this city, many times before today in the class. So what country do you think it is? Or what city?
France.
No, it's not France, actually.
Is it London?
Yeah, it's London. Actually, it is. Thanks, Faudy. And yeah, London, the capital of elegance, is the next city I'm going to be talking about. So again, I'm going to tell you a little bit of story about England. So, English society is actually difficult to deal with because although it is not so different from the American one, it has a lot of details that clearly differentiate it from ours. For example, it is well known that elegance and what it entails is very representative of the purist English society. And that is because, unlike us, they have a monarchy, which is very important to them. Some of the main facts about London. Well, it is important to mention that London and the whole country, as such, have great influence from the monarchy, despite the little political weight, and that is very important for their way of being. Now, I'm going to talk about, the culture of society on England. As I mentioned before, English society is widely influenced by the crown family, and it is not a secret to anyone. Even for us who live on the other side of the pond, what happens in relation to the royal family of England is an interesting topic of conversation. So I think that I am not saying anything new to you when I say that it's something that is really important worldwide. And regarding their way of being, despite the fact that they usually give the impression, in many cases correct, of elegance and fineness to the extreme, on many occasions, this is not the case, and it's completely different. So that's what I said is something very complex to talk about, because I think English society is something very big. It's a really, big topic to talk about. So I think it's difficult to, you know, get just like a resume in 1 or 2 pages. Now, some of the most interesting things to do in London. For me, some of the most frequently mentioned activities to do in this city are, for example, visiting the Windsor Castle, the Tower of London, or the London Eye. Similarly, there are many really important art and sculpture museums located in the city, which can be of great interest for many. For people interested in them, there are also some historic stadiums in London, such as Wembley Stadium, Stamford Bridge, Emirates Stadium, or the London Olympic Stadium, which are, you know, of a great historic value for the country. Some interesting facts about London. Well, soccer, known as the most famous and played sport in the world, had its origin in England, and London, along with other cities such as Liverpool, for example, was of great importance for its early years and its formation. And also, this one actually shocked me because I didn't know it. The famous clock tower located in London, contrary to what is usually thought, it's not called Big Ben. This name is only given to one of the bells inside it. On the other hand, the real name of the tower would be Elizabeth Tower. I didn't know it. I think it's pretty crazy. So, for last time, question time. So, for everyone, which are your favorite places here in Costa Rica?
For me, I like a lot San Carlos, the place where I live, because I think there's a lot of nature that I can enjoy. Also because like these kind of places like San Vicente are very close to where I live. So I like to visit it. And well, like breathe the air that is there is something kind of is very interesting for me, or I like it a lot because I love nature and seeing it, and also the rivers that are close to where I live are, well, good for me. I love it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Actually, I think that we're pretty lucky for living in San Carlos. I think it's actually a pretty, nice place.
Yeah, honestly, me too, because here there is, well, the Arenal volcano, a forest, what beautiful waterfalls, Fortuna, and like Fauri said, San Vicente, that there is a cold weather, so I like it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tam. Thanks. No one else?
Well, in my case, it's the same place like down on Pauri. It's San Carlos. I don't know, because maybe because I like I think we have the opportunity of having having constant contact with nature, that in the city it's more difficult, and I like that. I really like the nature, and I think that here, yes, I can do it. So that's why I really like where I live.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Tanya. So thanks. And well, I really want you to think about this one. So, is there a place that you like to visit for a reason not related to the location as such? For example, it can be a movie, a book, a band, actually a stadium, but also you can say, for example, like teacher talk about elephants in Thailand, or like you talk about the Northern Lights, or things like that, but not just because of the location, but for things that are not related to it.
Honestly, in my case, maybe Hogwarts, because I really like fantasy and the magic, and I don't know, for me, it's really interesting. I really like to meet this place.
Yeah, actually, me too. Thanks.
Ale, sorry, but could be a unreal place.
Well, yeah, if you can, yeah.
Okay, in my case, probably it's Pandora of Avatar. Oh, I don't know. I love that place. I think it's not probably, yes, not that true real place, sorry, but I think it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is actually. Thanks. Fabri, you want to say something? Or maybe the teacher?
Well, I don't really know, but um, it could be like an imaginary place or that
Yeah.
is okay. Um, well, I would like to go to an enchanted forest. I like it to go
Yeah.
there.
It would be interesting.
Well, it's very interesting because the moment that you said it, I immediately started thinking about movies and everything that I have watched. But it's very fun, and I really like this that you thought about places like imaginary places or fictional places, and I love that. Because again, if I had to choose, I would say Hogwarts just as STEM. Because I mean, I'm obsessed with Harry. Actually, I was eating something, and I have this. I don't know if you can see this. It's a mug from Harry Potter, and I have another one over here where I have my pencils that is Harry Potter, and I have even a Funko for Harry, and even my bottle, and I have many more things about like so. Hogwarts 100% yes, like hell to the yes. Especially the Forbidden Forest. I'll be obsessed with going to the Forbidden Forest in Harry Potter. Um, yeah, I would say that's the one that I can think of the most, that it's imaginary, and also because you have no idea how much I like eating. Like, so I would say that if I could choose one place, I would choose the restaurant that appears in Ratatouille, because like he really likes cooking, like he loves cooking. It's like a feeling, like a way of living for him. So I would love to go to that restaurant.
Yeah, actually, the restaurant for Ratatouille is an interesting choice. But yeah, I had to think about it. But yeah, it's a good one. Well, thanks. And last question. Would you like to visit London and why?
Well, in my case, yes, because um it has many it has many museums, right?
Yeah.
As you said, and I love to see the history that each country has, and also because I think it's a beautiful place.
I agree with you. Thanks.
Well, in my case, I would like to, because I would like to know about their culture. So I would like to stay for a long time there. I'm very interested also in the way they speak English. Is kind of a very interesting way, and try to learn it is something that I would set as a goal if I could go there. And yes, mostly because of it.
Well, thanks. I
Yeah,
actually think, yeah.
me
So,
too. There are many places that I would like to visit.
yeah. And like Fabri, I think that, you know, the English accent, it's amazing. I think it's pretty interesting. Most of the times it is complicated to me to understand it, to be honest, but I really like it. And I don't know, anyone else? Maybe the teacher?
I don't want to sound like this is gonna sound bad, and I'm sorry. I have been to London. So I have already visited London, but if you can go, go. It's beautiful. And it's very interesting because I was obsessed with London and I went to London. Would I like to go back? Yes. However, it's very interesting because when I was there, I said, okay, I like it. It's really pretty. It's very different, of course, from Costa Rica. But I said I could never live in London because their lifestyle, it's so hectic. They're always in a rush. So you see people like running and everyone going like super in a rush and so fast that even if you're not in a rush, you feel like you should be in a rush. Because I remember I was looking at the tube. The tube is the way that they call like the subway. So I was looking at the tube, and people would jump to get inside the tube when the doors were closed. And so the doors were closing like this, and people would jump. And I was like about to get a heart attack. I was like, why are people jumping? What if that thing closes and they're in the middle? So I got like stressed out in a way because I was like, everyone is in a rush. So, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And one of my favorite pictures ever, it's very simple, but I liked it. I'm gonna show it to you. I took it in London, because I don't know, like the phrase that it appears there. Let me see if I find it. I think I have it here. Yes. I don't think you're gonna be able to see it, but can you see it? I really like it because I was just walking in London. I don't even know where. And I found this kind of cottage, this kind of building that said, "Take courage." And then there was like a London cab coming by and everything. I was like, this is the perfect angle. So I literally just kneel and took the picture. And it's like a picture that moment like lives rent free in my mind. So, but yes, I would recommend it to go. It's a beautiful place. It's very hectic. It's a little bit expensive, so be careful with that, but it's a great place to visit.
Well, thanks, teacher, and thank you all. Actually, well, this was my presentation. I hope you like it. And well, thanks for paying attention. So, yeah.
Thank you, Ale. I think it was great. I think we all loved it. I think it was a very interesting take on this type of cultures. I think I liked it because you went to different I forgot the word, continents. You went to Europe, you went to Asia, you went to America, so you didn't stay in only one, and you showed the beauty of each one of them. And I think that you probably like a little bit more London than the other places, but again, that was not noticeable. I couldn't actually tell. I think I'm saying this because I think I know you a little bit more, but not because I actually know. So I like that you were able to transmit all the information in a very transparent and a very objective way. So as I said before, now thanks to you, I feel very intrigued and very interested in visiting Japan, no, Tokyo, and visiting Tokyo, because I'm like, I really want to go and visit, get to know this culture and everything. So thank you. I think it was a great presentation. Great work.
Thanks, teacher.
Okay, guys. So who is presenting next week? Is it Tam or Tanya? Tanya, I
Me,
think.
teacher.
Yes, yes, because I was like, Tam is the last one. I just remember that. Okay, so Danny, do you already have something for us to go over? Okay, so I'm gonna let
Yes.
you. Okay, awesome. So Tam, Faudi, and Ali, I'm gonna let you go so I can stay with Tani because already 8:20. And I don't want to have Tani here for like for 40 minutes. So I'm gonna let you go, guys. I hope you have an amazing, amazing rest of your week, an amazing weekend. Take good care of you, take good care of your mental health, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Take care.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, teacher. Good night.
Sorry, teacher.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Sure.
Am I the last one to expose or not?
Present. No, you're not. You're the third one. We have Tani, then it's you, and then, for example, a week from today, Tani is presenting, and you and me, we are meeting at the end of the class to go over your presentation, and you're presenting the following week, and then it's Tam. Tam is the last one.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
You're most welcome.
Good night, see you.
Good night. Okay, Tani, tell me, what have you prepared for next week?
Well, my topic is goals and careers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a debate with myself because I said, well, I don't know, I feel more comfortable if I talk about goals,
Mm-hmm.
but about careers for me it's difficult because in that moment I don't know what I want to study in the university. But well,
Danny, but if
I
you
want
want to go over for only goals, it's fine. I mean, I think this is like the way that it worked when we put it together, like all together. So, but if you want to go for only goals and you think that you can create like a whole presentation, that'll be very nice and everything, you can do it. I mean, I don't have anything against that. And at the end, actually, if you feel more comfortable with that, I think it'll be great if you go with it, because the idea here is that you present comfortable and also that you're able to create something to motivate the others to talk. Because remember that the main idea of a speaking session, it's like 50-50. It's like around 40% of you speaking and most of it, like 60% of you making the others speak. So if you feel like that would be like a good idea, I'm super onto it.
okay, but the debate is that I like my presentation of goals, but I think that I need to make my presentation longer. So I was thinking at the part of careers, I don't know, maybe just a little bit, or the things that I think are more important or something like that. I don't know. I need to think about it. But well, I'm gonna say the things about goals.
Okay, I think, how about this? I mean, I'm just thinking, like, like brainstorming. How about if you do this about goals? I think it's a great idea. You can actually do a lot of things like how to set goals, how to track goals, how to accomplish goals, how to know if we have been able to meet, sorry, goals. That would be great, like taking us all the way, because I mean, not only like this is a goal, but like how can we start with a goal? How can we know that it's a goal? Is it reachable? Is it not reachable? Because actually it will be ideal, because we're gonna have mental health next week, the whole week. So it would be amazing if you can talk about that, how to make goals reachable, like tangible, how to make them, as we say, like alcanzables. That would be beautiful.
Yes.
And how about this? Also, if you want to tap into careers, how about if you talk about creating impact with your career? Like how, or like the most impactful careers, like how from your career, from your job, how can you create a positive impact in the world? Or, I mean, I'm just, again, I'm giving random ideas. So you take what you think works for you. But also it could be that like how, or jobs or professions that were never meant to create an impact, but that ended up creating an impact.
Okay.
For example,
Well,
I'm just saying, because for example, I'm thinking about like the people that were able to create like the kind of the bionic arms, and they can move them. Engineering was never meant for that. Engineering was meant for computers and stuff like that. And people now are creating like entire arms and legs and everything with technology. So in a way, it turned out to be very super useful, amazing, I would say. But again, I'm just saying, you tell me.
okay, I like it. I I don't know. Well, in goals, I have uh the most important thing that is for me the K to I don't know. Well, the I don't remember how the title of my presentation is how determine your goals can change your life. And I have, well, the most important thing of my presentations about goals is well, the case that I think I don't know how to explain you. Well, the case um of complete or finish your goals.
Oh, that would be very interesting. Also,
Because
go continue.
uh-huh, because I was looking at
Documentary.
documentary, sorry, about it, and the documentary said and the K teacher the K of that, and I say I need to share with my partners that, so I think it's the most important thing of my presentation.
I think that is
Um,
the, yes, sorry, continue.
no, tell me.
No, but I think that is great. You can actually have like if you, I mean, I'm just saying, if the documentary was about goals, you could actually even have it at the end and say like have like a trailer, the trailer right from YouTube, and say, guys, okay, just to wrap up, I would recommend you this documentary. It's really good. Something, and then you play the video, like the short video of the documentary, like the trailer. Also remember that this isn't a speaking session, and it doesn't have to be one specific way. This is for you to go crazy with it. You can have a video, you can have a song, you can have a game. If it's about goals, for example, I'm just saying, how about if you look for a quiz? Maybe there is a quiz on the websites, like on online, that we can take and say like how good are we at taking our completing goals, or how to start, or no, stuff like, I'm just going crazy with it. So you can have anything. You can have games, songs, videos, anything that you consider that would actually help you. It doesn't have to be one specific way.
Yes, I was thinking about it. And well, the topics I had are, well, what is a goal? Why is it important to determine your goals? Type of goals like education goal, career goal, and well, exist like 3 types of goals: short term, intermediate,
Mhm.
and long term. And also, well, 5 tips to try things that can help you achieve your goals. And well, the thing that I said, that I think it's the most important thing.
Mhm. I think you're
But
sorry, continue.
well, I probably also will talk about careers.
But yes, I mean, if you want to do it, it's fine. Just keep in mind that in those, you should open and have a lot of questions for your classmates. So for example, goals, like, I don't know, short goals. For example, in every section, you can even have questions. And you can even ask people directly. You can say, like, for example, Fabri, have you had any short-term goals that you can think of at the moment? Or, okay, how did it go? Then midterm goals, Ale. If we think about it, can you mention any midterm goals that you have worked on and stuff like that? And I think, I mean, that could work, having questions like, well, you should have lots of questions throughout the presentation, because that's the idea of that. But again, you can have a video and then just ask them, what do you think of it? Like, would it help you achieving your goals? Or, as I said, it would be very useful, I think, since you want to focus so much on goals, it would be beautiful if you could have like the stages of a goal, how to create like how can I say, like an action plan to accomplish a goal. And you can actually title it like creating an action plan to achieve our goals. And what is the first stage, like the very, very basic stage? What is the next stage, and so on and so forth? So we can say like, oh, and then I get like these ideas, because sometimes we want to do something but we don't know where to start. So if we say, oh, it's, for example, I'm going to use my example, I'm sorry, like the thing that I want to study in the UK. You can say, for example, you can use me as an example, or you can use Ale, because Ale also wants to study in the UK. So you can say, for example, the first thing, okay, identifying what do you want to study here. Second stage, and then you go like this, giving them examples and everything so they can understand or follow this. This could be useful for you and also for them. Again, it's just a recommendation. Any way that you do it, I'm sure it's gonna be great because you're amazing. So, but I'm just giving you lots of ideas. My question actually is, do you need any help from me?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, just about, well, I don't know. What do you think about the topics that I want to talk?
I think they're great. I think what you're mentioning looks really good, and I like the order that you're following. I think it makes sense.
Okay. Okay, just that in case that I have any question, I will ask you.
Absolutely. You know, you can count on me if you need any help. If you need anything, let me know and I'll be here, okay?
Okay. Thank you, teacher.
You're most welcome, Tani. Have an amazing
Good
week.
night.